Whoa.
Damn, ginger ale is good, isn't it?
It's weed. You're smoking weed.
No, ginger ale tastes like if an angel pissed in a cup.
Ginger weed.
Ginger weed, just for me.
So do we have to do like do we have to do like an
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, choke on it.
uh,
Yeah.
introduction? Or are we doing any sort of introduction?
I'm choking to death, and you're asking about an
Yeah,
introduction.
Jackson, man. Come on, bro. This
What?
kid's dying.
God, I'm sorry. Let me mute.
I
Well,
can't.
Holy shit. Okay.
Is that?
Yes,
I
I
can't
actually
even tell if
choked.
that.
I
Oh,
actually.
that wasn't
No,
staged.
I can
no,
feel the
no.
I can feel the
Oh,
asbestos through my headset.
You're saying asbestos, right? It's his bestest. His bestest work yet. Speaking of which, I heard you're a renowned artist, Toast. Can you share us your details on your favorite art piece so far?
oh, my artwork.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really think I have a favorite.
Is it because you're one of those artists who says he's a bad drawer when he's a good one, or because they're all your favorite?
I don't say I'm a bad drawer. That's drawer. Don't
That's
why am
good
I saying
because
it like that? Artist.
I've
Like
seen I've seen your art. You're good.
it. What I'm saying is that I have a long way to improve.
But you have a if you're going the opposite direction, I feel like you have a longer way to not improve, don't you think?
I guess.
Anyways,
Anyways,
battery low, battery needs sex gif.
give sex.
All right, it's
I acquire.
What?
let's read this godforsaken list. So, Jackson, so can we talk about how the definition of a simp has been twisted beyond recognition? What are your thoughts on that?
I I believe that I firsthand have been a violent victim of this issue.
Oh,
Calvin,
oh so
I, for one, can admit that I am called a simp daily by,
daily?
yes,
Daily.
it's certainly daily by people, but we all know quite close.
Yes, of course we do.
I believe someone that goes by the name of Java Moss.
Job,
He
yes. Should we leak his
he
Discord?
we should not. Doxing
No.
is not good.
I
He might be a
suppose.
guest later on this podcast, by the way.
The issue is he says it like it's
He's saying it
how
like
do I
it's the
put this?
term, bro. He says it no so nonchalantly. Is that
Yeah,
what
he
you?
like he's saying it to the point where I don't even think he barely understands what it means, and
Do you think he's
we
just
should.
part of a internet stigma that's swept the internet itself?
I wouldn't call it a stigma. I would just say that it's almost like pointless harassment. Like Max, I wouldn't necessarily you wouldn't necessarily understand this, but the people that ride my bus home with me,
I've been on your bus before. I know what it's like.
well, they
Alright, we're live.
some of them are related, the people, the main perpetrators of this issue, but
Oh, I see.
no, they don't call people simps. Like they just
R.
what they what they do is they insult.
Oh.
The only things I hear them do are insult others and insult each other,
Hmm.
and partially just like petty methods.
So, do you think maybe this could lead into our next question? Does fake bullying your friends turn into actual harassment? When do you think that line is crossed, Jackson?
Personally,
What?
something along the lines of, see, it's not a joke if someone doesn't enjoy it or doesn't like it. You can
Hmm.
you can do it up until the point where someone gets uncomfortable.
Ah, I see.
And then if
Yeah.
you keep going,
That's when the
it's
line is crossed.
yes.
So do you think? And I don't mean to sound like a therapist here, but do you think the line's been crossed several times?
In what situation?
Relating back to the first question of being a
Oh yes.
called a simp. Uh,
I I do believe it has been crossed.
okay. Do you think that we should probably stop using that word, like ironically or not?
I'm not saying it's a bad word to use, but I'm saying it back to the point where
It's been
it's
overused?
not fun. It's not funny anymore. It's not a joke anymore.
Yeah.
It's back to the point where it's becoming harassment.
So you think it should be just reverted back to just a regular insult and no longer a joke? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm uh Sam, I don't. You've been pretty quiet. Why
Oh
don't you
yeah.
give your
Oh,
two
yeah,
cents?
I exist, guys. Yeah. Thanks for the recognition. Um,
Sorry. Sam, what do you think about being called a simp? Do you think it's dead in the dirt or do you think it's
I mean,
alive and well?
I don't know. It depends on the person. Like, some
Hmm.
people might use the word like ironically, and others might not like use it to like actually harass someone. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it just depends on the person and how like the other person like perceives it. I guess.
Yeah, and relationships are a touchy thing, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that, but but yeah, it's people. Oh,
What?
fuck them crabs. Sorry, I apologize. I got sidetracked. But it is a very touchy thing. Like simp, obviously relating to relationships. Like that's obviously something that messes with people. Wouldn't you think? Like
Uh,
being called like inferior to the woman.
yes, it's it's almost disrespectful. Not only is it insulting you in the way of, say,
Mhm.
your I I don't know how to put this. Fuck. Um, like it's selling you to the point where I feel like if you well, I believe the original definition of a simp is someone who asks who acts nice to women
Just
only in the hopes of sex.
yeah,
And I believe being called that falsely is insulting to you. Like they're almost calling you a pervert in a way. They're calling
yeah.
you.
They're
I
calling
could
you
see that. Yeah.
like a
They're saying
shallow person
you
who doesn't care
yeah.
about the woman.
Yes. They're thinking that you can
This
only
is what
see
we're
women
looking for.
with as
Perfect. And the
looking for sex.
rocket.
Yeah, and that's even if we say that, right? People are just gonna call us, a white knight, which that's not true. That's just being a simp generally is just not right. And uh, this is starting to turn into like a fake political podcast,
Oh
but
no.
but
Oh, it is. Oh no.
it's a touchy subject, I'd imagine. Yeah, being it's just simpery in general, if that's the correct term. It's a really touchy subject because there are a lot of simps who will just feast on your corpse if you make fun of them in their ways.
Yeah.
And what better place for simps than Twitter? Do you think that the wasteland of Twitter? Do you think it's? Could you describe that perhaps? The wasteland that Twitter
Um,
itself has become.
the wasteland of Twitter,
Hmm.
much like in certain ways that hell is described. It has layers. It has sections. It has different categories of waste and treachery. For example, um, I don't mean there are certain people on the platform who are quite uneducated, and
Yeah.
I mean that in the way that they will spread
Mia
false information in the hopes of being righteous, or only in the hopes of getting clout or likes or any
Coochie
of that.
simps. Not you. We're not
Yeah,
talking
that
about
too.
you.
No.
We're not.
There are also and there are also people who are dumb enough to believe it.
And I only talk about this because this kind of relates to Simpri in the case that it's about relationships. But I saw something on Twitter I'd like to read to you that you might. I was wondering if you could give your 2 cents on.
If sure, yeah.
The tweet says, "Sometimes a girl will have such an ugly boyfriend that I'm like, oh, you're like straight." And then the first straight is in all capitals. Oh, you're like straight. What are your 2 cents on that?
It enrages
I say that makes 0 sense.
me.
Exactly. Do you like the being ugly, your looks have nothing to do with your sexuality.
Yes. It's like how you act. Looks are barely anything.
And then and this is a girl saying this, right? And and then okay, let's say you put um that criticism on Twitter, right? You say, "Oh, this is bad. You probably shouldn't be saying this because this makes, no fucking sense." And if you say, "All of the replies saying I have no room to talk because I am also ugly are funny because uglies have even more of a right to talk about other uglies. Please stop trying to police my culture." Yeah, let me repeat that last line. Please stop trying to police my culture. Wait,
Oh,
What culture is there? Being a Twitter stan? I don't.
being it doesn't make sense, does it, Sam?
No, it doesn't.
And then it says, she says, according to somebody, and she makes no sense. Like I'm starting to think that English isn't probably her first language because she says, every man that's ever touched me actually technically can be classified as a lesbian.
What?
That makes no sense, does it?
No.
yeah. Like the people on Twitter, I don't think they understand even what they're saying. Sometimes,
All the
Yeah,
time.
like
all the
they,
time. And it's like, so I recently had a run-in with some Twitter stands. I've had 3 run-ins.
Oh
First
yeah.
time was with 2 Twitter stands. The next it was with 4. And my recent one, which was yesterday and spanned between yesterday and the day before, was with 8 different Twitter stands, all on David Dobrik. I said, I don't like David Dobrik's. I was being civil, right? I was saying, I don't like David Dobrik's content because he is a loud and seemingly obnoxious creator. And you're right to agree with me. It's Twitter, talk all you want. But when you go so far as to bring, your dirty, wormy tribe to come attack this random 14-year-old on the internet, do you think that should ever be justified, Jackson?
sorry.
Well,
What? I may have zoned out. What did you?
Do you think
Could
do you think Twitter stands ganging up on people should ever be justified?
it depends on if the person is morally correct or not.
So I said I don't like David Dobrik because he is seemingly obnoxious. That's a paraphrase of what I said
Yeah,
on Twitter.
that's your opinion. If
That's my
you
civil opinion.
find it, yeah, if you unless you called him a fucking bitch in your tweet, I don't think they'd
Right,
have any
and
reason to harass you.
right, and I tweeted like at David Dobrik, right? I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I was like, right, because his content, I can see why it's likable, but then like I was just getting a little ballsy, right? And I tweeted at David Dobrik, "You're a little obnoxious. Please tone it down." That was in a separate tweet, but it was still like relevant in the tweet thread.
Uh,
And
I personally don't know if
um,
that's on the same thing.
it's I don't know, I'm still angry about the Twitter stands just tearing me apart. But what? Okay. Anyway, anyways,
I wanna.
Sam, would you like to take the spotlight? I think I've been talking long
All
enough.
right. Talk about like what? Uh, wait. Where's the list? Hold on. Okay. Um. Okay. It just says the destruction of cringe culture. I don't know what
Yes,
that's supposed to
yes.
mean.
Cringe culture as a whole
What do you, is it like?
is
just
on its way out.
like TikTokers?
Yeah, no, define
And
cringe
let me.
culture for those of us who don't know.
Like me,
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'll look it up too to see if we get.
guys.
Okay,
It's the
so
state of Wyoming this whole time, bro.
cringe culture is no in a basic form making fun of something for being cringe. Like say,
Mhm.
just I don't. I'd give an example, but
So it's not
I don't think
necessarily
I need
like.
Hentai beans. That's just for convenience's sake.
So wait, is it saying that like it's not necessarily like the cringe itself? It's more or less just people making fun of it. Or
yes, making fun of cringe
okay,
or like I wouldn't. I think it's either partially people either embracing cringe or tolerating it. Like say, I
Hmm.
don't remember. I'm trying to think of the specific example, but there's something to do with that one show.
How to Catch a Predator?
Huh?
How to Catch a
No,
Predator?
there's no way that was it. Never mind. I forgot what I was going to say.
Hmm. But I think I understand what you mean by cringe culture is on its way out the door. Do you mean like the tolerance of cringe is just not is just seemingly like starting to deplete? Is that what you mean?
You mean no? The cringe culture means the tolerance of cringe has increased. People are growing thicker skin. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
and I know
oh, I
online
get that.
that's never going to be 100% true. There's always going to be someone who has to call out their opinion saying that they don't like something. But in some areas of online as a whole, we're getting better with
I see, and that's good.
this. And then again, there may be areas where this is getting worse.
Hmm.
Say, people are getting more and more sensitive to the things they don't like to the point where, say, Max, about going back to your thing about David Dobrik, was that something you did you tweet at him before or after you made the tweet about him being obnoxious? I'm like, no.
That was
Did you get
so I
did you
made
get attacked?
I
Did
got
you get attacked? Sorry.
no, I made the tweet without tagging him first, and then I made the tweet tagging him after, like after the stands apparently got mad at me somehow. Um,
So so you got attacked before you tweeted at him.
mhm.
Okay. See, that's an example of the worsening of thicker skin.
I see. Yeah.
Huh.
Huh.
Well,
But
what am
now,
I supposed to say?
yeah, no. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there
I
anything you
mean,
have questions about?
like I agree with the fact that like more people are coming like thick-skinned, if you will, towards like being like the cringe, but like those that few time that they do, it like really offends them. Like they really don't like it. Like it's just
Yeah, and where they become, downright toxic.
yeah, like it's amplified. If you like, yeah.
So, cringe culture. Do you think because in the past Minecraft has been seen as cringy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's been
So
in the
has
past. It was flooded by much younger children,
which there's
and
nothing wrong with that. It's just because of our
yes,
intolerance and our
and
uncomfortableness
then
with having to deal with them.
yes, and then the issue was with that time back in the cringe culture was that people saw the stuff that younger children did as cringe.
Hmm.
That's undoubtedly
But
what
but
happened.
what they didn't see is that they were doing this if like they were in the same shoes and like the same time at the same age,
Yes,
they would have done the same
yes,
exact things. You
yes,
know?
and I understand children aren't like, because I don't like children. I Younger people, in my experience, are quite annoying. Like I'm not
Yeah,
talking our age. I'm talking
like
nine and
yeah.
below, probably.
Hmm.
But
No, and this kind of relates back to cringe culture in the sense that, like, as I was saying earlier, you and I understand what you mean by like children aren't well liked, but like the massive majority of the internet doesn't notice that, hey, maybe these kids are just gonna end up like us because we acted like them when we were their age, right? If I'm
yes,
playing Minecraft and a 9-year-old comes into my lobby and starts being annoying, I was annoying at 9, as much as I hate to say it,
yes,
regarding my massive ego. But
I'm certain we all were. Like, I
and,
remember I was a menace online in my
and
earlier years.
and all the menaces on their earlier years are most probably gonna end up just like us, not like doppelgangers in
Exactly.
any sense, but they're gonna have the same attitude towards 9-year-olds, and that's kind of
Yes,
like a
it's
healthy cycle in a way because
yeah,
they're gonna.
it's sort of like a cycle repeating itself.
Yeah, as long as 9-year-olds are joining the game and 14-year-olds are leaving, I think it's a good cycle because the 9-year-olds are going to become the 14-year-olds, and the new 9-year-olds come, and it's just, yeah, it is a cycle, and I think it's actually very healthy because, and I don't know, it's a whole thing. I could rant on about it for hours, but what and uh, I don't know. I'm out of like transition words, so I'm just gonna ask the next question. How have games been resurrected in recent months? Examples:
What?
Yes.
Minecraft, FNAF.
So
Okay, I'm gonna
so
start this off.
tying back into cringe culture, right?
Hmm.
Um, a lot of content we come to know things like those games for are the bad side, the poorly made SFM animations, the crummy intros, the shipping.
Yeah,
But
we.
I in my what I have seen for a game to be resurrected is someone coming into it in a new light. Say, take for example, SMP Live, done by Call Me Carson.
Hmm.
Uh, I certainly believe that was patient zero for what resurrected Minecraft. Because
Yeah.
Yeah, people say PewDiePie did it, but I beg to differ. I
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, Carson was the OG.
Mhm. No, but in this kind of like this has kind of been a pet peeve of mine. Carson, while being the most famous, I don't think he's the absolute face of what seemingly is now the Goopcast. I think is the name they were called. I don't.
Yes, sir.
He is kind of like the brand name, but he people go to the Goopcast for Carson. A lot of people do, but there are
Yes,
people like
a lot of people do.
but they don't see like the good creators like Jay Schlatt, Wilbur Soot,
C Scoop,
underscore
Travis,
Mason, Travis, what was it, Connor Eats Pants, all those guys. It's
C Scoop.
hmm
We
um
can't forget him.
C Scoop. Sorry, you already said him, so I was gonna. Ah,
Ah.
sorry, my cup. Anyway, sorry for that. It's I think it's a very toxic cycle. Um,
I mean, like
it's because. Mhm.
on the bright side, what's happening is introducing the people that watch Call Me Carson to the other channels and giving them more growth.
Right, but it's okay. Let's be honest. A lot of Carson's fan base are not anybody above the age of 16. Dare I say 15? Right?
That
It might be
probably
16,
be true.
but it's about I would say it's about 9 to 15. And I know you're not too keen on 9-year-olds, but that's just my rough estimate.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I feel like Call Me Carson. He makes videos like they're for adults, but his fan base are kids. That's a problem with a lot of YouTubers. If
That's a problem with a
YouTube,
lot of media. That's a
well,
problem with
yeah,
a lot of adult media because that younger kids are going to gravitate towards more adult subjects.
and it's not just that. It's the fact that they know that children are watching their content, and they make it's a lot like Lele Pons. She makes so many sexual innuendos. She makes so many adult jokes that children, like 7, 8, 9, 10 should not be consuming. Um, and that's not okay for her to do that. But then she makes the argument that, oh well, I don't, I make college humor. It's not my fault that 9-year-olds watch me. But
Yes. Are you so you're saying something along the lines of YouTube need to be more strict on their age policies?
oh no, no, I don't think it's a YouTube thing. Like you said earlier, it's all media. I think it's
Right.
just the fact that people don't care about kids, right? Like you see this all the time in absolutely everything. Nobody really cares about teenagers, and nobody really cares about younger kids. Nobody cares about young adults. It's always about the middle-aged, late 20s, to mid 30s. They're always targeting those people, or they're targeting little kids. When they're targeting teens, that's very rare, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
and
do believe
and the only
that
reason
makes sense.
it's so rare is because back to cringe culture, it's so poor that teens be like, let me remember. There was, I can't remember. It was a campaign that somebody did. I want to say it was Cheetos, the brand. Like you'd see it all the time on TV. Like they'd have these like weird like edgy stuff that they target towards teenagers, right? And being a snack brand, I know that's probably not the best example, but
Wait,
these,
but
yeah.
wait,
Are
isn't
you
that like illegal though? Like targeting ads towards children? Isn't that like like back in like the end of 2019, that huge scare that like all YouTubers were gonna get obliterated? That was because
No,
Oh yeah, that Kappa.
yeah.
I'm talking like 2015. This is like mid 2010s. Here, let me look it up. Ad campaigns targeted towards teens. It's like Jewel. Jewel is like they have like really hot. Yeah, it's I don't know. Anyways, I'm going off course. You take it
I
away,
think
Jackson.
I just got I just remembered I have a flashback to there was this one uh brand that it was some sort of burger. It was some sort of fast
Burger.
food. It was
Burger.
like I think, yeah, burger. Yeah, I think it was Hardee's. I
Uh,
remember at some point there were these like really sexual ads for their burgers. There were like these uh
What?
oh, I know what you're talking
cowboy
about. Yeah.
cowboy women
Yeah. No, I think it was
advertising the
Hardy.
burger and like probably rubbing it on their tits or something. I don't remember the commercial very much. I remember it was burger and hot women.
I don't remember this. This was
I think it
before
was
my
Hard. I
time.
think it was Carl's Jr. who did that.
They're the same
Um.
brand.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Carl's and
Oh,
Hardee's. Blah, 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 blah.
Carl's Jr.
They're like the
Sexual.
different. I think it's it depends on
Oh yeah, it was Hardy and Carl Jr.'s.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a Super Bowl ad, and it cooked up. It says Carl Jr.'s Super Bowl ad cooks up controversy. So
Huh.
yeah, yeah. I just feel like children, they're very vulnerable and they're very. I don't know. I want to say impeccable. But that's not the right word. I don't know. Influenced by a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Because kids are fucking retarded. Like, let's be honest, guys. Like, I don't mean to be bland, but like, don't you think so, Jackson?
Sorry,
Don't you think kids are
you're.
just dumb? Just like dumb
I
in a
mean,
sense that like they don't
certainly.
like they're not aware. They're like they don't know what's going on. Like they
Yes,
don't see the big.
they don't think far enough to understand the repercussions of their actions.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because it's when you see people like Jake Paul. He doesn't really care. It's this
Yeah.
careless attitude, and I'm just doubling back on it again. but this careless attitude that it's really all kind of it's like music, video creation on the internet. It's products, it's services. It's really everything. They target towards kids, and they target towards just that younger part, but it never really hits. So I don't know how these business. I don't know. I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
You know, personally, I don't think someone like deserves being mentioned.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
attention is what
What
someone
they
like that
want.
craves, and the only way we can beat them is just by letting them rot.
Yeah, I know people like that who just rot without. Yeah,
I I'm sure we're both thinking of one of the same people.
motherfucker got the fade.
What?
Nobody. Yeah, I'm guessing we're thinking of the P Man, huh?
P. P. P.
Wait, you mean the person who like? Oh, no, never mind, never mind. Right, right.
Yeah. And he had a Polish girlfriend. You know what Polish starts with? The letter P. You know what the letter P reminds me of? Pop music. Do you think pop music is truly manufactured?
You know what the letter P
Clean
reminds me of?
transition, bro.
Papa John's burgers and pizza, fries.
What?
Not burgers.
What?
What? That's
I
What
don't
did you
know.
say?
What did I say? What did I just say?
I don't know. I didn't understand it.
Never mind. Continue.
Um, so fuck music. What about the fine line between racism and humor? You seemed pretty intent on that one. Would you like to talk
Uh,
about it? Explain it?
in my thoughts, it's either people use it for shock value
Mm.
or they use it to be ironic. And well, actually, using it ironically also leads to shock value. So,
Yeah, they kind of fall hand in hand. I know what
right.
you mean. And it's I feel like it's been so desensitized because it's not really
Certainly.
used as a slur anymore, which is definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
It's rarely ever unironically used as a slur. Um, and I feel like that's been kind of like the floodgates opening for all this humor about the actual words themselves, not racism. And I feel like I feel like it's a brick wall and just a piece of paper. There's nothing behind the paper except the brick wall, and the brick wall is just it's nothing. There's no meaning behind it. And the word, there's no meaning behind the words when people say it. Nobody's the right word, like like God forbid I say nigger, hard R. Um,
Max,
it's but it's
you
not
really
bad.
have to.
Well, might as well, dude. But anyways, if
It still kind of is.
it's not racist if you just say it's context. There's a video with iDubbbz. His content cop on Tana Mongoose or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's really good. He's always talking about like it's about context.
Okay.
So
Right, sure, okay.
who cares, man? Yeah. Well, anyways, I feel like that's a good place to leave off on this podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, leave it with an N word.
It's been fun being your first guest.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
are
Is that
first.
right?
Yeah.
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 Sorry for killing the mood so fast, boys.
It's fine. Like, how long have we been going for again? When did we start?
exactly about 35 minutes.
You want to keep going? If I just
Nah,
refrain from saying
I don't.
slurs.
I don't. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, man, you're the guest. How about just
It's
5 more
it's your
minutes,
show.
just to close up, man? You want
Alright.
to just?
Concluding thoughts.
So yeah, this is
Sure.
our first guest of all time.
Yeah.
This is Jackson, and thank you for coming, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
The honors. No. Thanks for having me.
Mhm. Yeah, no. If you ever want to come
I-
back on, man, you're always welcome.
It's strange knowing that my people would actually want to hear what I have to say.
Oh no, despite you being known as Toast, you make very good, valid points. And I'm gonna leave this
Yeah.
podcast off with saying rocks do have genders. My rock
No,
is
they
a
don't.
boy. Yes,
They
they
don't.
do.
I
Rocks have genders.
They're
No.
stones. They're stones.
No, they don't.
They're They are
Rocks
biological.
have
They
gender.
can't have gender.
Ro-
Rocks are not biological substances. They cannot. They can't.
Jackson,
not possible.
look, okay, you're going on the air, like you're gonna be online on YouTube and on Spotify, on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You're going on
Well,
Twitter.
I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be right. Rocks
Are-
can't
okay,
have
no,
genders.
no. But you're gonna be going on the internet. Listen.
Yeah.
All right, no, listen. You're gonna be going on the internet, so answer this carefully. By not giving rocks the right to be a transgender individual, are you being a transphobic individual yourself?
What are you, a fucking Steven Universe
Yeah.
fan? Jesus Christ. I'm leaving.
Holy shit, cut it. Oh my God.
I'm cutting it. Alright, bye guys.